to legal representation to fair treatment in courtrooms, countless women still face systematic cultural and financial obstacles in their pursuit for justice. Today, in our program, Women and Leadership on Canal International, we ask the hard questions: what security exists for Cameroonian women within the judiciary system in Cameroon. We have invited just the finest brain. The program is Women and Leadership on Canal International. We'll be right back just after the jingle. In a society where the courtroom should serve as a refuge for victims, unfair judgments in domestic violence cases can have devastating consequences when the legal system fails to hold abusers accountable. It is not only silences victims but also deepens their vulnerability, exposing women to further harm and reinforcing a dangerous cycle of abuse. If you have missed our past editions, you just need to go to Canal YouTube page. You type Women and Leadership, you type the thematic of that day, and you can watch all our past editions. And let the conversation begin just after the jingle. And it's time for us to know our guests. They're right here with us, and they are all women. And today we're questioning the security of women within the justice system. We have the first guest I want to introduce. She's called Charlotte Chakunte. She is a barrister at law. She is a member of the Cameroon Bar Association, Metro. Let me call it that way, or Barrister Chakunte. You're welcome to the program.
Merci Madame Maureen, merci de m'avoir invité. Bonjour à tout le monde. Et merci pour l'attention de tous nos auditeurs.
And I also want to tell our viewers that you're perfectly bilingual, right?
Oh, perfectly bilingual. You know that I'm not bilingual. I'm trying.
All right. Now, what are the other caskets you're wearing as besides being a lawyer?
Besides being a lawyer, I am what we used to call in French feminist woman, fighting for the right of women. I am the president of the Anti-Corruption Commission in the Cameroon Bar. Yes.
All right, thank you so much, and we are happy to have you here today. And we equally have CV Ndongmo. She's a civil society activist. She's wearing multiple caskets, a president of so many associations, international and Cameroon, but I would like her to present herself by herself. Now, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well.
Now, I just wanted to tell us who you are exactly and the multiple caskets you're wearing, and the most recent.
Yeah, thank you so much, Maureen. Greetings to Maître Chakunte and Maître Emma. And it's my pleasure to be here, and greetings to all Canal televiewers. It's my pleasure to be here today. I am called Sylvie Jacqueline Dormo. I'm a Cameroonian teacher by profession, a retired teacher, but I'm also very invested in civil society. My recent hat is that of the international president of the world's oldest feminist peace organization called Women's International League for Peace and Freedom. We celebrated our 110th anniversary yesterday, April 28th. So I've been in the position for 2 years now, but I have other hats as civil society actors. I've been promoting many other organizations, but what I want to maybe share here and as another hat is that of I coordinate a platform for 1325. It's a committee for the Security Council Resolution 1325. Okay. How do we make women be involved in peace processes? It's a very important committee that I truly value because it's talking about peace, and there is no possible development without peace. So I want to stop here because there are many hats if I start talking about all of them.
And today's topic aligns with your objectives.
Yes,
right?
Of course, yeah.
All right. And we equally have Barrister Emma Nanyongo. I hope I've pronounced it well. She's all the way from the southwest region of Cameroon, just to prove that we have a guest who have to travel miles just to be part of the program, and we'll have these hats of trying to educate or add their small sense to women, how they can change mindsets of women. You're welcome, Barrister Emma.
Thank you very much. It gladdens my heart to be here to push women to that designed end.
Can you tell us what of the multiple caskets you're wearing? Can we let us know who Barrister Emma is besides being a lawyer or being a member of the Cameroon Bar Association?
I am a member of Union des Jeunes Avocats, Cameroon. I'm a member of the Permanent Committee. And I'm also the church administrator of my church, the Full Gospel Mission.
Okay.
And it speaks for itself. I should be the youngest and the one with the smallest number of caps on my head on this panel this afternoon.
All right. And I'm happy that we have Barrister Chakunte, who is a whole old hand in the profession, and we'll have the younger ones too that are there. But before we get into the crux of today's matter, I would like us to watch this story by Cynthia Latu. She paints a picture of the security of women, or how women are protected, or if women are actually protected when it comes to the justice system in Cameroon. Let's watch it right back just after the jingle.
Gender-based violence remains a significant concern in Cameroon, affecting women and girls. Nearly two-thirds, that is 63% of the population, believe it. Approximately 48% of Cameroonians report that violence against women and girls is common, taking many forms: physical, sexual, emotional, psychological, economic, and harmful cultural practices with devastating consequences. Efforts to hold down the victims at times does not match the act, leaving many disappointed and heartbroken. Prevention and response include education and awareness campaigns, legal reforms and enforcement, empowering women and girls, and support services for survival. The agreement sealed between the Minister of Women's Empowerment and the Family and AFIRI NGO falls in line with the latter.
We have noticed since December 9th, we opened our doors, we receive a large number of victims of violence. So we now send the report to MINPROF, and they realize that we need to sign a joint agreement to make sure that we combine our strength together to source for more funding, and to make sure that all those victims coming to us are really take care, because it's very important that when we receive them, we give them all the services.
Embracing the hands of support and solidarity, because to the minister, the state cannot fight the battle against gender-based violence or follow-up victims alone.
We are not encouraging violence, but when it happens, the victims should have a place where they can go. The state has a few structures, but we need more. And when we see civil society setting foot inside there, we have to take that extended hand. And this partnership is extremely important, and we would like to have more initiatives of this kind to take place.
Cities have taken the engagement, but many are looking forward to seeing firm, stern legal reforms on the matter.
Welcome back, and I want us to start by examining a recent case that happened this week: domestic violence. A man who tortured the wife to the extent that she had a surgery, she underwent, or she had multiple surgery, went back when she was healed, and then went back to the husband, and the husband had to beat her again. He had to open her wounds, and finally she died, and the man tried to escape, and he was arrested. I think that was yesterday. Now, Metro Chakunte, Barrister Chang, when you hear this type of case, how do you feel? A woman being beaten, tortured, had surgery, and then went back after she was healed.
J'avoue que ça fait mal, ça change ma température, mais c'est regrettable parce que j'ai l'impression que malgré tout le travail qui est fait par la société civile, par les femmes qui sont sur le terrain, rien ne change en fait. Et c'est vrai que nos sœurs ont du mal à comprendre que leur sécurité n'est pas nécessairement dans un foyer. Et quand ça ne va pas, il faut partir. C'est pas que le mariage soit une mauvaise chose. Non, personne ne peut œuvrer pour détruire ce que Dieu a créé. Le mariage est une institution de Dieu. Mais quand ça ne va pas, quand le mari cesse d'être le mari pour devenir un bourreau, il faut sauver ta vie.
So in this case, the woman is to be blamed, right? You blame the woman here?
Oui, la femme n'avait pas le droit de revenir. Mais sauf que parfois, les hommes aussi, ses partenaires ont des méthodes pour te tromper, te faire croire que le miel est à côté, alors qu'il n'en est rien. Mais je dis que le monsieur soit sincère ou trompeur, le rôle de la justice est capital. Parce que même s'il trompe, si en trompant, il sait que derrière lui, il y a le marteau de la justice. il ne va pas faire de n'importe quoi à la femme. Et c'est pour cela que pour ma part, la sécurité de la femme est entre les mains de la justice. Qu'elle soit sage ou bête, la justice a un rôle capital à jouer. Parce qu'elle peut être faible dans ses sentiments, elle a le droit de croire que son bourreau habituel a changé. Mais la justice doit la protéger dans cette relation.
And that's what we are talking about here. Barrister Emma, in a case like this, the man has been caught. Now if he gets to court, what will happen? What will happen then next?
The law makes provisions for such persons. Assault occasioning death. And your punishment ranges from 2 to 10 years. It is clear. The law says whosoever.
The woman is dead. She's no more alive. She's
Yes.
not alive.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That the law makes provisions for it. For such instances, she was assaulted to death, from what you're just saying. And the law says whosoever interferes in any manner, whether it was intentional or not, that causes the death of another shall be punished. It mustn't be a woman. But the case we have at hand is a woman who has been assaulted by her husband to death. The law punishes such an individual to the apex. I think if I'm being briefed in such a case, I will pray the courts to give maximum sentence.
All right. Stephen Dongmo, how was your reaction to the case, and how should court handle such a case? Because obviously the man will certainly go to court.
Yeah, my first reaction is what we said, we have been saying for weeks now, that the case of Diane Yango paved the way for other men to continue their job. As simple as that. Yeah, because the decision that was taken speaks volume. Other men have a free hand now to operate. Yeah, so that's my first reaction. I'm just astonished. And like Maitre Chakunte, I want to say that it's about the justice. If the justice was really done for this man, I'm quite sure that the other men will slow down. But they receive like a go ahead. Just continue, go ahead. There's nothing, you have nothing to be afraid of. So that's it. But I think honestly that one of the way to promote peace in a country is through the justice system. That's the best way to promote peace.
But is a woman protected at the level of the justice system? Yes.
Yeah, I'm just saying that we are in Cameroon and we all know that the Cameroon is going like our security situation is not nice. It's not good. So we should do everything for peace to reign in Cameroon. But this type of decision are rather fueling conflict in one way or the other, or discontentment. And while the justice system is another important layer for a country to promote peace. So such a decision should speak into the mind, not only of civil society, media and so on, but of the judges, of the justice system. Do they want, what fate do they want for Cameroon? What fate? Yes, because the fate of Cameroon is like in their hands. The more they are giving this type of decision, the more they are fueling conflict and crisis and discontentment in Cameroon. So I agree with the fact that the judges should do their job, but I also look up or above the magistrate. They should be given free hands to do their job, because some of these decisions are not from them. They have a lot of pressure. Yes, we know that because of corruption and many other things, but also the state and all of those officials that put all of this pressure should give free hands to the magistrate to do their job in total impartiality.
All right, I just want to say Metro Chakunte will have this information circulating on the social media. It has to do with gospel singer, Nigerian gospel singer Osinachi, where news is circulating that the husband has been slammed a death sentence and by hanging. Now, seeing that type of news, even though fact checkers are on the story, are trying to fact check to see if the story is true. But what's your reaction if such a verdict is handed?
Oui, si après vérification, cette sentence est vraie, pour ma part, elle serait juste. Elle serait juste, même conformément à la législation camerounaise, au droit camerounais, parce que l'article 75 et 275 du Code pénal dit que celui qui ôte la vie mérite de perdre sa propre vie également. C'est un principe. Alors, cette décision a un pouvoir éducateur inimaginable. Il suffit que les médias jouent leur rôle pour que les tapeurs, les tueurs par les coups sachent que on peut se trouver mort après avoir tué une femme.
Okay.
Et ça, je vais dire que c'est un exemple que la justice camerounaise devait suivre. Je crois que même la corruption règne quand même au Nigeria, mais il y a des cas face auxquels on parle à sa conscience avant de prendre la décision.
We're trying to draw from that case because we have many other cases. We have the Dian Yungo's case that sparked a wide range of reactions. Now, Metro Emma, when we look at the situation of Cameroon, we look at the environment of Cameroon now, do you think that women are secured as far as the justice system is concerned?
Of course, women are secured. You know, the tool behind this security you are talking about is the law. And the law has put in place resolutions. Whosoever does this will be punished with this. And women are not exclusive. Women are not exclusive. The law is for everybody. What stops sometimes, maybe I'll talk a little further.
Okay.
What stops women from seeking this justice sometimes are beliefs. Most women think maybe to take your husband to court because you were assaulted by your husband, or to take your husband's family to court because after his demise, every property has been taken away from you, is a certain sort of taboo. In that phase, the women will be left stranded. But the doors of the judiciary, the doors of the judicial system are open to women who come knocking.
All right, what sections of that law protects women?
For example, rape. Rape. The law is clear on rape that whosoever by force has an intercourse with somebody that's above puberty, it protects women, because you hardly heard how a man has been raped, assault, battery, just to mention a few. A right to be educated, a right to own property, because most women out there don't even know that they have right to own property. They will tell you a woman is a property of another. No, women do have rights to own property.
Okay. CV wants to react.
Yes, I wanted to react by saying that if I have to rate by percentage, giving an answer to your question, I would say it's 20%, yes, accessible for women to have justice, 20%, but 80% is no. They don't have access to justice. They don't have the possibility for many reasons. Yeah, I say yes, 20%.
That's 20% have access.
Yes.
The rest of the 80%?
No. Yes, 20% because of what Barrister just said, because there's legal provision in Cameroon. We have good laws and everything. But how do we implement those laws? Are they truly implemented? If they were implemented, I'm sure their youngest husband will have a different punishment. Then I think also that there are many other reasons that make justice inaccessible for women. I want to take for the legal reason. There are legal reasons. We still know that Met Kakute can confirm that there are still discriminatory laws in some legal system in Cameroon. There are still discriminatory laws. There are legal bias, and also looking economically, there are economic constraints. Is it easy for a woman to go to court? Is it easy? No, I don't think so. Starting from the fees to have to pay the procedures and so on is not easy.
So knowing that abandon.
Yes, they have to abandon. And Barrister Emma said it, the social stigma. Yes, sometimes she has the courage to take to speak out, but at the same minute she starts being pointed to say that she has taken her husband to court, she's a bad woman, and so on. So the social stigma. So some of the things. So, and many, unfortunately, the dependence on their of the people or their husbands or the abusers. So they depend on the abusers. So because they depend on their abusers, they have a tendency, knowing very well that they are in a very difficult situation, they might risk, they have the risk of losing their life, but they still sit there because they depend financially on their abusers. So a lot of reasons make me to think that, but looking at the system itself, honestly, there are some institutional barriers also. Yes, there are a lot of bias in our judicial system. Sometimes I am a victim as well. I've been to court with my husband. I know other women. Honestly, when a woman comes on good faith, And the men know already. They have that they call joker, what they call joker in French. When they don't have a strong argument against their wife, they will say that she's going out with X or Y. Oh my God! The minute a man says that, all the judges, men judges, they just wear the shoes of that man and they punish. So these are gender bias. They don't even, they consider that they are being betrayed as well. Secondly, I want to end here. Imagine a woman is like a civil servant or a lawyer like maid and yes. They will say that because she's what they call in French long crayon, she wants to show that no, there are a lot of gender bias in our institution, and these are playing against women. Of course, corruption. We also know about corruption. In many cases, why did the minister, Mr. Momo, why did he issue the letter? Because he himself is aware that the justice system is not working properly. So we can't say that women have the possibility to have access to justice in our country.
Before I get to Barrister Emma, I want to get back to Barrister Chakunte. I know I want you to be a little bit bilingual, even though I know your English is you try English and you try in French, because I want those watching us. Cameroon is bilingual. But now when we're looking at the justice, Cameroon has beautiful laws. The laws protect everybody, whether men or women.
Yes.
It's not discriminatory, right?
Yes.
At the level of the court, how is the law applied? And what are those sections of the law that protects women? And what are those sections of the law that are discriminatory against women?
Concerning the law, we have many particular law. I can talk about CDF, and one of the best law we had in our penal code is the law who says that nobody can push or throw other one out of the house without the decision. We were in joy. We jump up when that law come. But today, we can say that women are protected because men are continuing to put women out of their homes, out of the home without the decision. And when the victim go to the police, the thing will take time. They will ask for money to do this, ask for money to do that, and most of the time, women does not have.
And they abandon.
Yes, they abandon the abandon must not be the problem. Normally, no matter all what you have said, you talk about the cultural system, you talk about the poverty of women. Cameroon is a state of law. It means that even if the woman is living under the culture, the judicial system must rise up and say what this man has done is not right. We have to punish it. No matter the fact that the woman says no, the man has violated the law of Cameroon. And there are people who are specialized to protect the law. They must stand up and say, we can't leave you. Even if your woman say no, we are going to punish you. That is how we have to work to help men who are sick in their mind to know that Cameroon have in law and all are supposed to respect the law. I don't know if you need more.
No, I need more. Maybe you can continue in French. Maybe if it's a little bit difficult.
Thank you
because
very
my
much.
problem is that I want you to quote the law where women are protected at the level of the court.
Il y a plusieurs lois. Hein. Il y a la CEDEF, qui est la convention pour l'élimination des discriminations contre les femmes. C'est une loi qui est venue protéger les femmes sur des choses qui n'étaient pas correctes, le droit à la propriété et autres, le droit même de se remarier après la mort d'un mari. C'est un mélange de sécurité pour la femme. Et le Cameroun, que je respecte, c'est mon pays, j'aime la rapidité avec laquelle le Cameroun adopte ces lois. Donc voilà une base qui est solide. Et nous avons beaucoup travaillé pour que la CEDEF soit intégrée dans l'esprit des magistrats, parce que quand le Cameroun ratifie, il faut pratiquer. Donc régulièrement, nous utilisons ça. Malheureusement, dans la culture de certaines personnes, certains magistrats, et je dois préciser que le tout, c'est pas les magistrats seulement, hein, il y a également les avocats qui œuvrent contre les intérêts des femmes. Il y a les huissiers, tout le corps judiciaire, tout le système à partir de la police est pourri en ce qui concerne la sécurité de la femme. Donc, si d'autorité les membres du corps de judiciaire se levaient pour dire tu as mal fait, nous allons te punir, la femme n'aurait pas besoin de faire des efforts, elle n'aurait pas besoin d'avoir de l'argent pour déposer une plainte et autres. L'homme se sentirait en insécurité, il aurait peur de faire n'importe quoi. Mais sinon, comment ça se passe ailleurs? L'homme qui amène qui est à l'étranger, c'est qu'il n'a pas le droit de faire n'importe quoi à sa femme. La police est là, que la femme se plaigne ou pas. Parfois, c'est même les voisins qui disent qui appellent la police pour dire il y a des violences à ce niveau. Ma nièce a eu à crier contre un mari comme ça. Ici à Douala, il tapait sur sa femme. Ma nièce a crié, elle dit stop it. Si tu n'arrêtes pas, j'appelle la police. Et finalement, elle a appelé la police et l'homme a été pris. Pour dire que malgré tout ce qu'on déplore au niveau de la police et de la gendarmerie, il y a quelques éléments qui sont conscients de leurs responsabilités, qui ont dans leur tête la vérité selon laquelle c'est un être humain qui est en train d'être battu et j'ai une arme entre les mains, j'ai la loi et je vais utiliser la loi. Et ça change. Il y a quelques Camerounais qui sont sous traitement comme ça. Donc c'est possible de sécuriser la
Cameroon
femme.
has equally embraced international laws that normally should apply in courts. Are the laws being applied in courts? Because in most of the cases, the laws should have come in as backup.
Non,
because Cameroon is part of the
le Cameroun est équipé. Et le Cameroun fait même des efforts pour que ces lois-là soient appliquées. Le problème, comme a dit Madame Dormo, c'est la corruption. Le problème, c'est les barrières culturelles. Parfois, tu dis que tu as même formé le magistrat, mais il est au tribunal. La femme vient, oui, on lui demande, tu as demandé le divorce, pourquoi? Elle dit, parce qu'il me tape tout le temps. Et le mari, qui était, le juge était comme ça. J'étais là. Et il se lève, il dit, tu es quoi? Tu demandes le divorce parce qu'on te tape et tu demandes le divorce comme si c'était anormal de fuir la bastonnade. Vous voyez, et à ce moment-là, je vois le juge qui est là avec toute sa culture, il a tout transporté sur lui et il vient s'asseoir. Il porte une toge avec le vert rouge et jaune. Et il veut rendre justice au nom du peuple camerounais en refusant de comprendre que le fait de taper sur la femme est une faute. Ce n'est pas normal. Donc on doit briser ça et apprendre à punir celui qui n'applique pas la loi. Parce qu'on ne les recrute pas pour qu'ils appliquent leur culture. On les recrute pour qu'ils appliquent les lois camerounaises. Et quand on agira ainsi, je pourrais vous affirmer avec autorité que la femme camerounaise est en sécurité. Parce qu'en l'état actuel, il n'y a pas de sécurité pour la femme. Il y a une sécurité juridique, parce qu'il y a les lois, mais il y a une insécurité judiciaire très avancée.
Barrister Emma.
Yes, and I want to make this clear. These women need to cry out. They need to cry out.
But they have been crying out. Some of them have been crying out.
They need to cry out for it, like what senior counsel was just saying, that abroad the law is clear. You don't look down on the woman. You don't maltreat the woman. The police come directly, but the police cannot come without a call. They don't come without a call. Most of our sisters out there close their mouth. That's the issue. Most of them close their mouths. They don't cry out.
And those who have succeeded to open their mouths.
No, I want to say
that's
that
what I'm saying. And those who have,
I know many cases of women who have been discouraged by the treatment they have received in gendarmerie and so on.
Yes.
Exactly like Maitre said. They will come and they will complain because he's beating you, you want to go. Or even some women who say that, please try and still bury it. You have been buried for 17 years, for 18 years. Please, yes. Honestly, I know many cases. Of course, like Maitre said, we want to say that we want to salute those magistrates, those lawyers who do their job in conscience, because not everything is bad. But we just want to call on all of them to know that it's about our country, it's about the life of our sisters, our mothers, our daughters.
It's our society.
It's our society. What is the fate that we want to see? So as much as we are thanking those who are doing their job, we are calling to say that the Cameroon we want to see is what you do, is the way you do justice. And if women come to you and they are discouraged because you have other ideas in mind, you try to discourage them because of corruption, because of gender bias and so on, that is an issue. But I know that it's not only about speaking out. Many do speak out. It's sometimes about, and sometimes because of the financial, they don't have the fees to continue with their proceedings. So there are many other reasons, but I know many cases of women who were discouraged right at the at the brigades, telling them that either what they are saying is not true, or yes, it's very true that you are very stubborn with your husband, and so on. They start being judged at the brigade.
Yes.
So they are they are discouraged. So we are just drawing the attention on the fact that when the woman has the courage to come and speak out, she should be listened to.
We have a lot of measures that have been taken at the level of Cameroon. We have different ministries, and in those ministries we have call centers, we have measures taken at different levels. But now, at the level of a court, when a woman successfully takes the keys to court, why is she shut up? That is what we are talking about here.
Yeah.
Because a lot of women get discouraged. A lot of women get discouraged even with the verdicts, or the way the verdict is being handled, or the case is being handled. Some of them just like, let me just go back and just continue accepting the torture from the mom because she has nowhere to go. Now, I want to ask Barrister Emma. Now, who do we blame here? Are we blaming society? Are we blaming the government that is not ensuring that the laws are being implemented at the level of the court? Because we had a minister delegate that came out to say the law should be, the right thing should be done in courts.
I will still say that we need a push.
You say what?
We need a push to keep pushing, to keep pushing. For example, I want to cite this example. There was a time that female lawyers took upon themselves, went out to market women and spoke to them. We told them it was not all about money. We decided to do pro bono cases just to assist these women attain what they were crying for. And we succeeded in some cases. Why? Because we decided not to be stopped by what we see in courts. We kept pushing. We kept pushing. I think the only solution is to keep pushing.
Now, when you keep pushing and we have a verdict that does not protect a woman, do you think it does not like kill every steps you have taken to push a woman to denounce out the Maître Chakunte?
Moi, je ne comprends pas ce que ma petite sœur dit. Oui, keep pushing. On push quoi depuis une vingtaine d'années? Ça ne changeait pas. Moi, je suis avocat, ça va bientôt faire 30 ans. On push quoi? Moi, le pushing que tu dis là, c'est pusher sur la tête des gens qui doivent appliquer la loi. Ça veut dire qu'on lève le marteau sur toi. Il n'y a plus rien, il n'y a pas de sensibilisation à faire. Ma logique, c'est que il y a la loi. Il y a des personnes qui ont pour mission d'appliquer la loi. Et ça veut dire que la femme, qu'elle se plaigne ou pas, si elle est victime, l'État du Cameroun est concerné. Parce que la loi, en tapant sur la femme, en la maltraitant, on viole la loi du Cameroun. Et l'État a la responsabilité de protéger sa loi. Et en protégeant sa loi, l'État protège la femme. Et le pushing là, ça veut dire que chacun a la responsabilité de faire son travail. S'il ne fait pas son travail, l'autorité qui est en charge doit le sanctionner parce qu'il n'a pas fait son travail. Et au-dessus de cette autorité, il y a une autre personne qui doit sanctionner cette autorité. C'est tout. Si chacun à son niveau respecte la loi, fait son travail, ça va changer. On n'est pas obligé de faire ce qu'on veut. Dans mon travail, je ne fais pas toujours ce que je veux, mais je suis lié par la loi. Et si chacun se sent lié par la loi du Cameroun, quelque chose va être fait. Le coup de fil que la femme va passer, la voisine de la femme va passer, va sauver la femme en question. Elle n'a pas besoin de parler. Et puis quand vous te dites même que les femmes ne parlent pas. Moi, j'ai été dans une unité de police où le téléphone, l'ancien téléphone, le combiné, c'était décroché. On met là. Moi, je vois, je prends, je dis, et votre téléphone, vous avez oublié. Le policier vient, il dit, non, maître, ne nous dérangez pas. Ça, les gens dérangent trop. Et ça sonne tout le temps. Il enlève, il met là. J'ai passé 3 jours, c'était à Baranté. Le téléphone n'est... Donc, ça veut dire que toi, la femme, si on est en train de t'égorger, tu ne peux pas appeler, la police ne va pas t'entendre. Tout est à refaire. Le système judiciaire camerounais doit être refait. Moi, je dis même, les gens trouvent que je suis dur. Pour moi, la justice camerounaise est agonisante. La justice est agonisante et quelque chose doit être fait pour sécuriser non seulement la femme, mais tout Camerounais.
So the problem remains at the implementation of the law at every level.
Yes.
Sylvie?
Yes, I agree with Maître Chakunte. And I think that it is a collective responsibility. But we are talking here about the case of the judicial system. And those who are there for the law should implement it. And if I still come back to the example of the letter of the minister, if, for example, the instruction given that by the minister are implemented, are they going? Is the letter produced for producing sake, or does the minister think that something should be done?
They are not accepting it.
Yeah. So
I was
think
somewhere on Friday.
Very good. So it's a collective responsibility, and then I think that at every level we should, as she said, try to do our job. And it's about each and every one. I always say that the peace that we want to see start with all of us. So each at every level, you do what you are supposed to do. You don't do what you like, but you do what you think is right for your country. So if we try to do what we think is right, I'm very sure that we are going to go a long way to address some of the issues.
All right.
But it is, I want to end here, that it is a collective responsibility. And what she said, pushing is just part of the cake. It's part of it. But if you keep pushing and then you have this decision like this one, at one point you'll be discouraged because you are pushing very hard as civil society, as media people, as community, but there is an obstacle up there. So the pushing should have some results, and one of the results is really to deconstruct the mindset of the people at the judicial system who think that they can just play with the law like they want.
Yes, Barrister Emma, have you ever had a case of handled a case in court that concerns domestic violence?
Yes.
And how did you handle the case?
A lady from Dubai was assaulted by the husband upon her return. Fortunately, the presiding judge was a woman. I use fortunately because the courts too matters. If you are sent before a court that does not say, oh, just as senior has been saying, she's just beating and you come complaining. But she too was not happy with the case, so it worked for our good. So I didn't have that too much of a problem to bring my client out of her stress because the court in question was in our favor.
It worked in her favor.
It worked in our favor.
But I want to say something.
Give me
1 second.
The court worked in the right way.
Yes, that's I'm saying
in your favor.
Yes, I'm saying in
just
our
because the fact was
flowing.
Yes,
very good.
That is, you have to
Right,
make the
okay.
difference.
No, I agree with what Maître Chakonte is saying, and then I want to say that yes, we are not saying that women should cover what is not right. Yes, that is it. It's not because you are a woman lawyer or magistrate that you should do what is not right because of other women.
Yes.
So you want the court or the justice to be impartial. And if a woman is really in trouble, you should give the right decision.
Yes.
If another man should, so we don't want that because it's a woman, if she's in fault, you should just,
whether it is a man or it's a woman, let the verdict, let it follow the law.
Yes.
That's what we're talking about here, right? It's not like because a woman, you are following, you want to give her
a prostitute.
Yeah.
S'il y a des femmes que
Yes,
je chasse, si c'est elle qui a le cancer dans son couple ou bien contre son partenaire, mais je la chasse.
I'll come back to you, Mel, because I know you've handled a lot of such cases. You're going to give us some examples, typical examples. Yes, Barrister Emma?
Yes, I made mention of the court because we keep having this talk over and over. The court too matters. Yes, the court.
When you say the court matters, what do you mean?
It means just as Ma Jacqueline has said, they are supposed to be impartial. But sometimes you go to court, from what Senior also said, then the magistrate will be asking you, just because you were beaten, was your mother not beaten? From the very beginning, you know that court won't rule in your favor. Something tells you that you are in the wrong place. That's why I made mention of the court. Though it was the right thing that she did, but it also depends on the court. Because sometimes when the judge starts saying, just because you were beaten and you are before me, it makes you, the lawyer, feels uncomfortable already. No matter the facts that you bring before him, no matter the law that you put before him, because the courtroom is for you to bring out what the law says.
And Maître Chakonte, you are the lead lawyer of Diane Yongo, the teacher, a woman that was killed by the husband. I want to make sure that they know that's who you are. And again, but I want to say that you've been handling a lot of cases in court. From this Diane Yongo's verdict, have you had women come to you say that it discourages them, they want to pull out of their case or whatsoever? Have you had such?
Oui, mais beaucoup de femmes se sont posées cette question. Ça sert même à quoi d'aller au tribunal? Voilà le cas de Diane qui est partie. On a donné la
Like
liberté.
they had their fight with you. I want to precise you're bilingual too. Like the fact that they bring their cases and with the verdict that came out, they say, what's the need again? Let's just pull it out. I don't want it again. Yes, barrister.
Yes, we have many women who are who have been discouraged by the decision concerning the case of Diane, because they say if after 1 year and 4 months the court have been taking time to read all the matter, finally they give that decision. It means that we cannot count about the justice. There are many women, even the day they gave that decision. One woman, I think after 30 minutes, called for me. She was in Equinox. She said, Maman, j'ai des problèmes. I said, non, je n'ai pas la tête, je peux pas t'écouter. She said, pardon, mon mari veut me tuer. J'ai déjà fui la maison depuis 1 mois, mais il me cherche encore. I just say, come to me. I send him to her the address of my office. So many journalists see her in my office to say that the matter is serious. Concerning what our sister is talking about, peace and women, and I used to work with commission, that national commission we used to call Commission Musonge, and I
the
say
bilingualism commission.
Yes, we are talking about peace, bringing peace, sensibilizing people concerning peace. I used to tell them that the peace is not possible where justice have run away, because justice is what we call in French, you are going to translate it, colonne vertébrale. Colonne vertébrale, la paix, la justice est la colonne vertébrale de la paix. La justice est la colonne vertébrale du Cameroun. Chaque nation normale a pour colonne vertébrale la justice. Et tant que la justice ne sera pas droite au Cameroun, oubliez la paix. Il n'y aura pas de paix. Et ce n'est pas parce que les gens ne parlent pas, les gens ont peur, qu'on peut dire qu'il y a la paix. Il n'y a pas de paix. Il n'y a pas de paix à cause du système judiciaire qui est pourri au Cameroun. Et j'espère que pendant que nous travaillons, les choses vont être faites. C'est pas seulement la femme qui est en danger.
Their laws is the implementation. Now, we equally sampled the opinion of some women out there on the street to ask about what they think about the justice system when it comes to women going to defend their cases in court. What they think about that. Let's watch it right back just after the jingle.
Despite constitutional and international commitments to gender equality, Cameroonian women still face significant legal and cultural obstacles to justice. A recent report highlights the complexities women encounter in a legal system where statutory, customary and religious laws often conflict. While Cameroon has signed international agreements, the implementation of legal protections falls short due to deep-seated patriarchy, lack of political will, and limited access to legal support for women. Women remain underrepresented in key areas like the judiciary and political leadership, hindering their ability to drive meaningful change. NGOs and grassroots movements are actively working to address these issues through legal education, advocacy, and economic empowerment initiatives. However, challenges persist as exemplified by a recent controversial judicial decision in the case of Bekobo Eric, who received a 5-year suspended sentence and a fine for the murder of his wife. This verdict has sparked outrage and raised concerns about the justice system's response to gender-based violence. In Cameroon, many women endure intimate partner violence with high rates of physical and sexual abuse, as well as harmful practices like forced marriages and female genital mutilation. Limited access to gender-based violence services further endanger survivors' well-being. The country has seen a rise in feminicides, with over 77 cases reported since January 2024, mainly perpetrated by intimate partners. Critics question whether the judicial system exacerbates these issues, pointing to neighboring countries like Nigeria, where a man was recently sentenced to death for the murder of his wife, a popular gospel singer. The case underscores the urgent need for legal reform and increased protection for women in Cameroon.
What security exists for Cameroonian women within the justice system? That's what we are questioning here. And we have a battery of lawyers, and we have a civil society activist equally in the studio here with us. And we have someone that has just joined us, Barrister Egbe. You're welcome to the program. How are you doing today?
Fine, thank you.
You just join us when the debate is on. At least you'll catch up when we continue. Now, I want to continue now with Barrister Emma. In the southwest region of Cameroon, where you're coming from, specifically in Kumba, do you have a lot of cases in court as a result of gender-based violence or domestic violence?
Not actually. Not actually.
With the crisis?
With the crisis, we don't have. Mostly, we have disturbance of quiet enjoyment and stuff like that.
So what are some of the cases when women come to you? What are the problems that they come to you as a lawyer? Do women have confidence in you as a lawyer? And what are the cases that they bring to you?
Most of the times, they come when they are widows. Probate matters. Probate matters. And they'll tell you, my in-law just asked me out of the house. And I don't have access to my husband's farms. I can't see his bank books. Those are the things that...
At the level of the court, how do you handle the case? Because that's where there's a problem of implementation. It's just not about killing women, but even women who have rights to certain things, do they have that possibility of having that fair judgment?
Yes, at the level of the courts, you as a lawyer, you know what it takes for you to represent your client, especially in probate matters. The first thing you should do is to make her the administratives, which so many people, many women don't know that they have that right to control their husband's property. Have you ever won a case in courts, like a woman having fair judgment and going back? Yes, yes. I remember one woman from Bole, one of the outskirts of Meme. She was being robbed of her husband's properties, and when we seek the face of justice, she went back rejoicing. All right. Let me come back to Barrister Chakunte. She has 20 years experience. She's one of the old hands in that profession. Barrister, I know that a lot of women come to you with cases of domestic violence. That's what you've been defending for ages now. What evaluation do you make of what you've been doing daily, taking women to courts, and what motivates you daily?
Ce qui me motive dans ce que je fais, c'est l'injustice dans laquelle la femme se retrouve. C'est l'état de faiblesse dans lequel la femme se trouve. C'est parfois la pauvreté dans laquelle elle se trouve. C'est aussi l'ignorance dans laquelle elle se trouve, parce que en général, elle ne sait même pas qu'elle est en train de subir. Il y a des femmes, j'ai connu des femmes qui croyaient que la maltraitance était normale. Au point où quand tu attires même son attention, elle te dit que quoi, le 8 mars, non, ma mère avait souffert, elle n'est pas morte. Donc moi aussi je vais souffrir, je ne vais pas mourir. Donc c'est normal que l'homme tape, c'est normal qu'il insulte. Et bon, quand je réunis tout ça, quand j'examine certains cas, quand c'est possible, je peux appeler le mari. Je lui
mais ce n'est pas tous les cas que tu amènes au tribunal. Il y a les cas que
non, justement, je dis que je peux appeler le mari, je cause avec lui, j'exhorte et ils rentrent ensemble. Mais il y a des cas dans lesquels je dis à la femme, la mort est à côté de toi. Donc fais attention. Si elle m'écoute, elle sort. Si elle n'écoute pas, elle rentre. Et ce qui doit arriver, arrive. Mais je dois dire que la situation de la femme n'est pas qu'au niveau du patrimoine. Dans l'affaire de Yango, c'est sa vie qu'elle a perdue. Mais il y a des femmes qui sont debout, mais qui meurent psychologiquement parce qu'elles sont privées de l'essentiel. La femme a son corps, la femme a ses enfants. Quand tu prives la femme de ses enfants, c'est que tu la tues. Et ça, c'est une forme de mort qui est programmée pour beaucoup de femmes qui se servent de la justice, qui utilisent les agents de la justice pour priver la femme des enfants. Et puis, c'est normal.
At that level, what does the law say? Does the law not protect women at that level, giving them the right to have their children even when she has a problem with their husband or whatsoever?
Oui, à ce niveau, je voudrais que vous sachiez. La loi camerounaise a protégé la femme dans tous ses sens. Je dis bien dans tous ses sens. Et ici, qu'est-ce qui joue? Si ce n'est pas la corruption, c'est peut-être ce qu'on appelle l'exécution des instructions du venant d'en haut. Alors que la loi, ça dit que le fait d'être recruté, formé par l'État du Cameroun pour rendre justice, n'a pas dit qu'un magistrat est soumis à son supérieur hiérarchique. Il est lié par la loi et sa conscience. Donc, quand nous disons que le Cameroun est un état de droit, c'est parce qu'il y a la loi. Et le Cameroun a ses lois. Et il y a la justice. La justice, c'est là où on pratique la loi. Alors, quand on a la loi et qu'on ne peut pas pratiquer la loi, ça veut dire que le Cameroun a cessé d'être un état de droit à cause des personnes que le Cameroun a recrutées pour pratiquer la loi. Et c'est en cela que tout va piétiner. On va piétiner, on va boiter, on va tout faire. La notion d'état de droit ne sera pas réelle. Le rôle de la justice est capital. Et le drame, c'est que tous les secteurs, tous les autres départements ministériels dans notre pays sont connectés à la justice. Quand ça ne va pas, on recourt à la justice. Et si la justice n'est pas droite, ça veut dire que le pays est foutu. Ça veut dire que la paix n'est pas au rendez-vous dans notre nation.
Sylvie, at this level, now what needs to be done at the level of the courts to ensure that women's voices are heard?
At the level of the court?
At the level of the courts. We're talking of the judiciary.
Yes, I think I started by saying that, number one, the justice system should be free from what I can call politics. Yes, a lot of influence. We should give the possibility to the magistrate to do their job in total impartiality. So
you think that the magistrates are entangled into something and they are not doing
cases, yes, by either the politics or the money. She mentioned corruption. It's either the politics or the money.
Yes.
We know. It's either the politics or the money.
Yes.
So we should give them the possibility really to do their job in total impartiality. Secondly, I think we as civil society should continue, because I also know
I'm even coming for the civil society. Just go ahead.
Yes. No, I will say we should continue also supporting the system by training, by offering the trainings, because you mentioned some international laws as well. So sometimes it's also about knowing these laws, but we know that, so we should continue doing the job of supporting by training. But as Maitre said, it's also about, yes, personally, me as Sylvie, me as Med, and yes, what is my responsibility?
Okay.
What do I think? What is my own contribution? When I look at Cameroon in the way it is, when we look at all those women, what do I think? So you try to know that the fate of Cameroon is into your hand. That's what I think. Each and every Cameroonian at every level, when doing the job, should consider that the fate of the country is in the hand.
Ce n'est pas tout, hein. Yeah. Tu considères que la foi du Cameroun est entre tes mains, et n'oublie pas que au-dessus de la justice que tu rends, il y a la justice de Dieu. Tu ne vas pas échapper. Tu peux échapper à la sanction des Camerounais, mais celui qui te donne le souffle de vie va te juger en fonction de ce que tu fais, de la justice camerounaise. Il faut que les gens sachent ça. Donc, et par rapport à ça, attends que je termine, hein, par rapport à ça, il n'y a pas de sensibilisation à faire. C'est un choix qu'on fait personnellement, de dire que tu vas vivre au-dessus de tes moyens, tu vas prendre l'argent, même ce qui va te tuer, tu avales.
I agree with her, because you need to sit in your room without anyone and listen to yourself. It's very true.
Malheureusement, certains ont tué ça.
Don't consider that people are looking at you.
Ils ont tué leur conscience.
Yes, but also I like what Maître say. As we are doing this, let's continue pushing advocacy. If you look at the landscape in Cameroon, these recent years, many voices are speaking out now when we have cases like that. It was not the case in those days. Many women were not even speaking for other women. So
a lot has evolved.
Yes,
but we still need to get there.
But and also, I think I want to end here. You know, it's about education. As we are doing all of this work, let's make sure that we continue doing community work, ensuring that we have proper education for our little boys and our little girls. What education? Because it's building a sustainable peace and sustainable development. What education do we have at grassroots women, at grassroots level? So it's very important as we are doing that to really think of being sustainably. But I want to end to say that the court system is an indicator of the life of the country. So if the court is not working well, of course the country cannot, because as she clearly indicated, all the sectors are connected to the court. When you have an issue, where do you go? To the court. And if the court is not working, then there is a problem. And having access to court is a fundamental right for each and every Cameroonian.
All right, Barrister Egbe, now when you look at the courts, we are talking about how we could implement those beautiful laws to make sure that the woman is protected. Now, what are you proposing as solutions?
The strength of justice lies heavily on the judges. They have their 10th of March, they celebrate female judges. But I'm wondering what they think of when women are suffering. They claim that they have been given space at the level of their parliament. Those are the people who even make the laws.
But there are good ones there, right, who have passed laws giving fair judgments.
They are excellent, but the problem is, most times, the execution is a problem. They will even state it, but to execute it now is a problem. That's why you discover that there are a lot of things that exist in our laws, but they really just are on paper.
Okay, but at least women trust you as lawyers because they trust you to start from you.
They have no choice. Because if, for example, a man has beaten a woman, you don't expect her to go to another man. The man will definitely say that maybe you were too mouthy, maybe you were too, they hardly support our agenda. So when it comes to the trouble of a woman, only another woman can feel it. That's why I mentioned the judges, because the female judges are well placed to understand what the women are going through, even at the level of the judiciary.
All right, why are we not applying what works elsewhere? In other countries, how women are protected. The laws, you cannot touch a woman. The moment you slap her, the laws, you cannot even dare. Why is that in Cameroon we cannot like apply what happens elsewhere? Like in the United States of America. Barrister Emma.
Just as my colleague said, our laws are on paper. Execution is a problem. Execution is a really, real big problem.
Oui, mais
All right, what happened to those who don't apply the law?
That's the question. What
There's sanction. There's no solid
everyone will go
sanction.
to court.
What
Not
happened to
everyone will
them?
get the lawyer. But with the phone call, you can solve someone's problem. Barrister
moi,
Chakunti.
je dis que je crois que la question qu'elle t'a posée était celle de savoir pourquoi ce qui se passe ailleurs ne peut pas se passer ici. Ailleurs, les hommes savent qu'ils ne doivent pas taper. Ça veut dire que même si la bouche de la femme est empoisonnée, tu cherches un autre moyen pour fermer sa bouche. Ce n'est pas les coups. Vous comprenez? Ce n'est pas les coups. Et c'est là où on veut en venir. Empêcher à l'homme d'utiliser ses muscles. S'il a des problèmes avec les muscles, il peut aller... Je suis en train de parler. Je dis que si, par exemple, l'homme, peut-être camerounais, parce qu'il est habitué à utiliser ses muscles contre sa femme, si ça le dérange, il va en Dokoti, il l'utilise, il va trouver des boxeurs, mais non plus sur la femme qu'il a à la maison. Et s'il y a une interdiction pareille, quand tu tapes, la loi dit tu ne tapes pas. Quand les autorités sont saisies, on le prend. Tu n'avais pas le droit de taper. C'est d'abord ça. Donc tu as violé la loi du Cameroun en tapant. Le reste va suivre plus tard. Tu diras plus tard qu'elle m'avait insulté, elle m'a trompé, tu n'avais pas le droit de taper.
Est-ce qu'il y a les pays africains où la femme est protégée, vraiment protégée?
Moi, je sais qu'au Sénégal, c'est pas comme ici. C'est nettement mieux qu'ici. Nous avons...
Par rapport à quoi?
Par rapport à la pratique. Par rapport à la pratique. Et ils le font non seulement pour les Sénégalaises, même pour les étrangères qui sont au Cameroun. Nous avons par exemple une dame, une compatriote qui a vécu là-bas, qui était mariée à un Sénégalais. Ils ont vécu ailleurs et ils sont rentrés au Sénégal. Et le gars, quand il sort de ces pays où on ne tape pas, il arrive au Sénégal, sa culture lui impose d'être homme à sa façon. Et il a été homme à sa façon. Et la Camerounaise qui était sa femme a saisi la justice. C'était même la police. Et la police a écouté. Et on lui a demandé qu'est-ce qu'on peut faire pour toi. Elle a dit je veux rentrer dans mon pays. On lui demande avec tes enfants. Elle avait dit 2 enfants. La police l'a aidé à retourner au Cameroun avec ses 2 enfants sénégalais. Ça, c'est des choses que vous ne pouvez pas voir ici. Parce que la police a étudié, a vu que c'est leur frère qui était en train d'abuser de cette dame. Donc, on l'a aidé à rentrer au Cameroun. Alors que ici, là, parfois, quand la femme va se plaindre à la police, la femme est tranquille, on demande le numéro du mari, elle donne. Quand on finit de l'écouter, elle sort, le policier appelle le mari pour lui dire « Je viens d'écouter ta femme, elle a dit que tu as jeté ses sociaux dehors, elle a. » Donc, quand la femme rentre à la maison, elle trouve un bourreau qui est en train de ramasser ses choses pour jeter dehors, va encore à la police dire que je t'ai tapé. Maintenant, va dire que j'ai jeté tes choses dehors. La femme est étonnée et c'est en analysant qu'elle comprend que le policier a appelé la femme. Donc, c'est une question de politique, de protection. Si l'État veut protéger la femme, il va protéger la femme. Nous avons tout. Comme je dis là, il suffit juste d'interdire de porter main et d'interdire à la police d'attendre que la femme vienne se plaindre. Donc, si le voisin dit il y a violence ici, la police se lève et vient voir. Mais ça aussi, c'est un rêve que je fais en couleur, hein, parce que pour que la police se lève spontanément comme ça, il faut avoir tué la corruption dans la mentalité.
I want to summarize also in one of the big words, impunity. We need to fight impunity. Yes, that is corruption about impunity.
Yes.
When impunity is handled properly, I'm very sure things will go better.
No, c'est ça.
All right, now we're looking at solutions. We are running out of time. Now go to Barrister Egba. What solutions do you put out so that at least even to members, women who are parliamentarians, female parliamentarians? What are you telling them?
Okay, we have right now about 33% of ladies at the level of the parliament, Cameroonian ladies. They claim to be 33% as senators, involved in other posts in the cities and the legislative arm. That makes us understand that they have the power to adjust our laws. Yes, they have a lot to do with adjusting our laws, just as my learned colleague said, so that they are going to put a particular pressure or highlight on the sanctions the men will suffer.
Right.
It doesn't suffice to tell someone that don't beat your woman. According to the Cameroonian law, to a great extent, up to even 99%, the woman is a property to the man. At so many levels, when you see the law giving leverage to the woman, it takes it back in the next article, very technically. They tell you that you're both handling the home. They tell you that the man is the head of the house. They've taken the law back. So at so many levels, they really don't give us that freedom. Now, fortunately, we have other arms that are not quite Cameroonian, that are into the Cameroon law, like the UN. We have this convention on the elimination of all forms of discrimination against women. They call it CEDAW. I think it's 18 December 1979, implemented like...
talked about
yes,
it, yeah?
like in 1981, it came up again very strongly. It is basically the one that looks at a woman's right to education, zero violence, and all of that. So we see that in our own country, we have very little that the executive arm does to help us. We instead rely on international laws.
All right. Now, I would like Barrister Emma to look at the camera the other way. You're talking to a woman out there. You're saying something. I don't know who you're talking to, but you're saying something. I don't know, you're talking to parliamentary, you're talking to government, you're talking to magistrates, you're talking to lawyers, but you're talking to someone because looking for solutions, especially as far as the judiciary is concerned, and protection of women.
We need to be protected. We need laws that will keep us at that edge, that a man will look at us and fear to lay his hand on us. We need laws that will cause us to stand out there and do things for our nation. We need laws. Not only these laws, we need implementation. We need these laws to be implemented.
All right, I want to go to Sivin Dongmo. Look at your camera right in front of you. She talked about implementation. Who should implement the laws and ensure that women are protected? Sivin?
Yeah, I think that we need a conducive environment in Cameroon. We need to fight hard against impunity. We need to really accelerate the implementation of laws. We should not have laws for having sake. We should have laws and get them implemented, knowing that it's about the fate of our country. We should act at each level where we are, whether at community, national level, at every level, knowing that we have the fate of Cameroon in our hands. I always say that it's not about our neighbor, it's about us. All the pieces of work that we do are going to go a long way to support our country, but we should do it in total impartiality and thinking that we have the fate of Cameroon in our hand and we want a peaceful country, we want a stable and developed country.
And women should not fear denouncing violence because there was
an
unfair judgment. Women should keep
denouncing. Very important. Women should keep speaking out despite of what happened. And they should, not only women, women and all the community, the society should be speaking out against it, and we should always and also reinforce the education that we give at different levels, starting with our families.
All right, Barrister Egbo, and Barrister Chakunte, you look at the camera that way.
Okay, what I have to say is, as a woman found in the judiciary, whichever arm of the law you find yourself, I think it's important for you to base your interest on educating the woman, girl, child, and woman. Because it's the girl child who becomes a woman tomorrow. Most of the problems we face is not because the laws are absent. The Cameroon law is extremely complete. However, if a woman is educated, perhaps through workshops, and then all these adverts that pass on TV, I think we should take time to create adverts that give a woman some information on how to go about. If you are touched, say something. If you hear your neighbor screaming, say something. If you hear something, say something. If you see something, say something. That means that anybody who catches some other person malhandling or mistreating a woman should speak up. And instead of the people who are to execute the force or to carry out the execution of protection against the violence on these women, saying that, are you sure you were not mouthy or something like that? Even them, there should be laws against them if they don't take out action to protect that woman. That means that immediately a woman is said to be attacked, violated in any form, the person carrying out that act should be kept far from her. Why not quit the house and let her be in the house, even if it's your house that you built?
All right, Maître Charlotte Chakunte, you look at the camera. Tu parles à une femme, tu parles à la magistrat. Je ne sais pas qui tu parles, mais on a déjà rectifié quelque chose. On veut que les lois s'impliquent au niveau du tribunal.
Je n'ai rien à dire aux femmes, parce qu'on leur a régulièrement parlé. Et relativement à la situation actuelle, on n'a même plus rien à dire aux femmes. Ça veut dire que même si elle n'a pas le courage de parler, même si elle pense que pleurer et mourir à petit feu est la solution, moi je dis aux autorités chargées de la justice au Cameroun que leur but n'est pas de voir la femme pleurer, gémir et mourir. Leur but est d'appliquer la loi pour permettre à la femme de vivre, pas d'exister, mais vivre et vivre dans la paix. Une femme sur qui on tape régulièrement n'est pas en paix. Une femme qu'on maltraite n'est pas en paix. Une femme qu'on torture ne peut même pas produire la paix, alors que la paix n'est pas possible sans la femme. Elle est un élément incontournable pour la paix. Et je vais donc dire que moi, mon propos s'adresse aux autorités de la justice, absolument, ou à ceux-là qui ont pour but de rendre justice, de contribuer à la manifestation de la vérité. Moi, avocat, je contribue en apportant les faits qui sont vrais, en apportant les faits qui n'ont rien à voir avec l'intérêt de ma cliente, si ce n'est pas dans la vérité. L'huissier de justice a son rôle à jouer. Il doit servir la convocation et non pas rester dans son bureau, écrire pour dire qu'il est allé au domicile de la femme et il l'a trouvée, il lui a donné la convocation, elle a pris, elle n'a pas signé, alors qu'il n'est même pas allé à la maison. On a des huissiers qui font les constats d'abandon de foyer. C'est-à-dire, il reste dans son bureau, le mari vient, il donne le nom et il conçoit un document qu'il amène au tribunal pour dire qu'il est descendu chez la femme, il a appelé son nom, elle n'a pas répondu, alors qu'il n'a pas mis pied là-bas. C'est la sorcellerie. Les notaires ont leur rôle à jouer. Je veux dire que chacun, dans le système judiciaire, à partir de la police, la gendarmerie, et chacun a sa responsabilité devant Dieu. Moi, j'ai la mienne. Je vis sachant que à la fin de ce que je fais, je rendrai compte. Parce que le souffle de vie n'est pas le mien. Il m'est donné par Dieu et je devrais rendre compte de ce que je fais, de la justice dans laquelle il m'a installé. Pour ceux qui pensent qu'ils peuvent torturer la justice à cause de l'argent, il y a un argent qu'il ne faut pas manger.
Et tu vas continuer.
Il y a un argent qu'il ne faut pas manger parce que ça va te causer des choses que tu ne pourras pas soigner avec le double de l'argent que tu auras pris. Donc que chacun sache qu'il répondra de ses actes. Tôt ou tard, que tu le crois aujourd'hui ou pas, tu rendras compte de ce que tu as fait de la justice du Cameroun. Et ceux qui sont chargés de punir et qui ne punissent pas, vous rencontrerez le roi des rois. Merci.
Thank you so much, Maître Chakunte. And I want to end with CV Ndongmo. What's the message to civil society organizations? Because normally a lot of people are expecting much from them. Very briefly, what message are you giving to them?
No, the message is that we should not relent our efforts. We should continue doing our role to support government efforts through our work, sensitization, education, advocacy lobby. We should not relent our efforts supporting women in the community, supporting them to speak out and giving them the possibility of having access to justice. We should also continue advocating for a conducive environment to women in those in the courtrooms. So that's my strong message is that let's not relent our effort. If not, the women are going to be in total distress.
All right, thank you so much, ladies. We had Barrister Charlotte Chakunte, we had Barrister Egbe, Barrister Emma, and we had Civil Dongmo, a civil society organization, and she has wearing multiple caskets, international president of International Association. Now, we want to say thank you all for watching the program. We're talking about the security of women at the level of the justice system in Cameroon. I'm sure you learned something, and as a woman, keep denouncing violence. Bye-bye.